Alrighty, so let's make some decisions here. I'm actually pretty tempted to start out with this North London line scenario and see how it goes for us in the Capital Star Class 378. So I'm going to just do that and see how it goes. It's only a 35-minute scenario, so I'll almost certainly have some time for some other adventures afterwards. I'm also going to be playing some Heroes of the Storm later. I don't think I'm going to be live streaming that or even recording it, but a good friend of mine, well, my co-founder, I talked about him yesterday. I might as well say who it is. My co-founder and I enjoy the odd round of Heroes of the Storm more than the odd round, I'd say. So that's probably on the agenda for later this evening. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for a second day of Train Simulator in a row, as a matter of fact, with episode 18 of my Train Simulator 2017 series. We're getting started in the 6th of my live streaming portion of my videos with a bit of North London line action. So I assume I'm going to cut the video starting right here, so you'll have missed all the banter on the route selection and scenario selection screen. I apologize for that, but let's get going. So it's going to be a stormy day on the North London line. Good morning, driver. The poor weather has been wreaking havoc on the lines today, and you're running late as a result of delays. You'll have to make up for lost time, but drive carefully. Open the doors to let passengers on board before departing for Stratford, calling at all stations along the way. Get those doors open, get our train forward, cancel AWS, a little bit less braking. So yeah, we are in the Class 378 Capital Star. Let's get some headlights going. There we go. It's a rainy morning at West Hampstead, Platform 2. It is currently 8:14 in the morning. Let's assume this is a commuter service, and because we have been delayed, we will indeed have quite the challenging service for us. You do need to play with model trains. Tim Keller, I agree indeed. I know that you have one of mine hanging out in your workshop there. One of my HHP 8 locomotives. Now if I could find myself some windshield wipers, we'd be in great shape because it's almost time to go. All passengers are on board. You are now ready to depart for Stratford, calling at all stations en route. Well, let's get going. Guard says we're okay, so off we go. We have time to make up, so let's do that. Oh, I have my full HUD up here, so I can just hit my windshield wiper button right here. And I'm also going to drop the HUD because this is obnoxious. Much better. Alright. So we are on the North London line, which, as I recall, goes from south-west London up to northeast London, crossing over quite a variety of other lines like those ones we're crossing right now along the way. Let's not accelerate too much because we have to stop at Finchley Road and Frognall, Platform 2. I'll lay off the accelerator. This is a very short platform here, as you can see. Start putting out a little bit of braking. AWS says ding, which is always good. Step 2. Step 3. We've got our 4-car marker up there because we are in a 4-car Class 378 train today. That's an S-car stop, close enough. And come on, train. There we go. Doors are open. We are here, hopefully on time. Hopefully on time indeed. Take a look at our Class 378. I like that blue, orange, and yellow livery. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Screenshot time, of course. It is very rainy here in London this morning. Very rainy indeed. BR Class 47 to an LNER J94 at 70 miles an hour. That sounds fun. I jumped the gun on the guard there a little bit, but we do have a very tight schedule, so hopefully he won't mind. I figured it was probably safe to get going. The doors had closed. Go straight up to notch 4, especially as we're going into a tunnel where there will not be rain on the tracks. Can I go past notch 4? No, notch 4 is the highest. Next stop is Hampstead Heath in just 0.83 miles. You can see it ahead already on the HUD as we go through this rather long tunnel. You lost like 5 minutes of the stream, Tim. I'm just looking at IRC. What do I need to do? Actually, yeah, that would be fun. Oh, we're speeding. Let's not do that. Only 6 points. Not too bad. Not too bad. It won't be a perfect score, but this way we don't have to worry about perfection the whole time. Let's keep as close to that 45 as possible. For some reason, it's not telling us the required arrival times at the moment. Hopefully we're in good shape. AWS warning us about something. I wonder what. Could be about that 20 mile an hour zone after Hampstead Heath. Could be indeed. I was a little too enthusiastic on the braking there. Hello, other train. Got another Class 378 coming at us. And let's get ready to stop at this station at Hampstead Heath. I did that a little too gradually. That's going to cost us on time. What? I was in brake 3. Come on. I mean, we got a perfect stop there as far as location. But somehow we went into emergency braking. I probably got a little carried away notching down my throttle. So there we go. Bit of a learning experience. Danger, high voltage. Passengers must not cross this point. Staff passing this point must comply with safety instructions. Danger, moving train. So basically, watch out. Steam engine picks on chrome. Sounds like a good plan. Sounds like a good plan. Nearly time to go, so let's put on slightly less braking. Doors are closing. Doors are closed. Off we go. The sounds were a little bit delayed there. So I don't think I jumped the gun. Yeah, it does seem like you're quite a bit behind, Tim Keller. You should refresh and see what happens. Now I'm going to do some pretty heavy acceleration here because we do have time to make up before I slow down for that 20. We have quite the state route today. Sad that the North London line doesn't have more fast speeds with which to contend. Alright, now let's get that speed off. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. And we're on a decline, so let's watch that speed. I suppose I did. I suppose I did. Oops. Just a little bit of speeding there. Like 0.3 miles an hour of speeding. It's alright. Here we are crossing over to the right here. I'm not sure which line separates out from the North London at Gospel Oaks. I want to try to do Gospel Oak, excuse me. I want to try to do a reasonable job here, so I'm not going to glance over at my computer where I have the route map loaded up. Maybe when we're stopped at the station. Let's start slowing down a little bit. I see the S-car stop up there, I believe. Yep, there it is. So let's see how close we can get to it. And I think we can go into full braking now. Not emergency, just 3. Oh, come on. That's obnoxious. It's giving me minus 20 drive quality, even though I accidentally notched to emergency braking at 1 mile an hour. One day it could be fun to drive this fully without the keyboard at all, just dealing with the throttle on the screen. Although I think I would probably need more monitors for that so I can see the throttle and the window at the same time. We've got our friend, another Class 378 here. That's certainly screenshot worthy. Doors are closed. Off we go. And we're still in that 20 mile an hour zone, so we can't get too enthusiastic until we get into the 45. Next stop is Kentish Town West. We'll be on platform 2. Notch 3. Notch 2 because we're getting close to 20. Notch 1. Idle. There we go, now we're in the 45. Let's go up to notch 3, because we do have wet rails. We don't want to go straight to notch 4, I think. But I think it would be safe to go to notch 4 now. We only have half a mile to Kentish Town, so no use getting too excited. Look at that, that looks good. We're heading towards 45 miles an hour. As I believe, whoops, we're about to speed. I believe I commented on this the first time I played this route on my channel, but I love all of the sounds of the city around us, like the crane and the sirens and everything. What? Emergency brake. Ah, I missed an AWS warning. That's annoying. That's going to be all the points right there. Every time I go out to look at how pretty our train is, something like that happens. There we go. There we go indeed. That's why we drive trains from inside the train. Back and forward. Get ourselves into throttle at notch 3, and off we go again. This is Kentish Town West. We don't need to accelerate too enthusiastically because it's already just about time to stop. One more coach, half a coach. There we go. Now we're all the way on the platform. Nope, no emergency. Just notch 3. Just notch 3. Perfect. That's a very good placement. Doors are open. Here we are, Kentish Town West. Well, yeah, that's the problem. Outside train shenanigans seem to make me miss AWS alerts. People on the train look pretty resigned to the rainy day this morning. They don't look like they're having a great deal of fun. They probably got soaked trying to get to their train today. A little bit less braking so we can get out of here quickly. Ooh, I like the detail of the fan spinning around there. Very nice. Very nice indeed. You'll notice that this train, I believe, if I'm correct, yep, is on pantograph, not third rail. Although somewhere along this route, the Class 378 needs to switch to using the third rail. If we can manage to take a look here. Well, they're retracted right now, but I think they're retracted. There are third rail shoes on this train as well. In fact, I think there might even be fourth rail shoes. I'd have to double check that. We're about to go into a 20 zone, so let's not speed for that. Got another Class 378 over to our side. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. We're good. Perfect, in fact. That was 20.0. Speeding? Oh, yes. Decline. Sorry, train. I sure will, Tim Keller. They love taking points off for just about everything. Not right now, JMO444, but I will certainly look it up when I'm not driving. I don't want our customers today to doubt the safety of their ride. Here we have another branch merging in from the right as we sedately roll along at 20 miles an hour. We have an S-car stop at the end of the platform. Let's get ready to stop at it. Go to notch 3, and lovely. Doors are open. This is Camden Road, platform 2. I'm working on it, Tim. I'm working on it. So it's still not giving me times I need to be places, which is interesting, because I'm sure that they're quite restrictive. So we need to be at Caledonian Road in Barnesbury at 8:29, so we might actually be doing okay so far. We might indeed. Let's see how this works out for us. Doors are closed. Guard gives us the okay. Off we go. Start with notch 2. We don't want to get carried away. Alright, notch 3. DCC documentation indeed. Marking out some structs. Very good. So for a little bit of context, Tim Keller and I are working on a project to drive model trains with graphing calculators to implement the DCC protocol for digitally controlling model trains directly on calculators. Previously, we have succeeded in controlling trains with calculators by using DCC libraries for the Arduino and then controlling the Arduino with a graphing calculator, and that's been fun stuff. But this time we want to do it the less cheaty and more impressive way, which is having the calculator directly bit bang the DCC protocol, which involves switching a signal extremely fast and precisely, including with some pretty precise timing. We're almost at 40 miles an hour. That's not speed. We're going through some switches, but we're going through some nice, long, gentle switches, so we don't have to slow down from our 40 for them. We've got the high ball, so no worries there yet. Next stop is Caledonian Road and Barnsbury Platform 3, and it looks like we'll be there right on time. Keep ourselves up at that 40 mile an hour mark so we don't lose points due to lateness. AWS says ding. A little bit more. 58 microsecond timing for most periods. Yeah, so that means we need to be switching a signal between high and low or back every 58 microseconds, more or less. We need to be at least checking every 58 microseconds if we need to be doing that. Hello, Class 378. Inappropriate use of the horn, I'm sure, but gotta greet other trains. It's only polite. And let's do some controlled braking here. Alright, notch 2. I think I'm going to go all the way to notch 3 because we have another short platform here. Vary it between notch 1 and notch 3 so we get a good location on the platform. There's the S-car marker. Almost there. Almost there. Actually, that's perfect. Let's just coast in right there. And doors are open. Doors are not open. Why are doors not open? Oh, doors are open. The HUD doesn't agree. Weird. That's an amusing bug. I hear it beeping over here somewhere. I'm trying to track down where it is exactly. Our doors are definitely open though. Ah, train simulator, you never cease to amaze. Due to depart at 8:29 as well, so let's hope train simulator knows that. There we go. Doors are closed. I didn't hear an okay from the guard, but the doors are closed, so off we go. And we didn't get any points there either. Better sounding horn? Oh, I think that horn is awesome. Gotta love the dual tone horn. What do we have under our bell? Ooh, a whistle. Very nice. I like that too. What? Okay, that's nonsense. Because we definitely stopped. Alright, I'm going to do some quick Googling here. North London train simulator Caledonian bug. Because I'm pretty sure that was nonsense. Be careful when stopping at Caledonian Road Platform 3. Aha! So it seems I may have not been the first person to encounter this. You have to slightly overshoot the platform or the red loading bar will not appear. Alright, so apparently there's a bug in this scenario. Terry Corp! Good to see you, sir. Good to see you indeed. Just remarking about the amusing bugs in Train Simulator 2017 that made it think that I missed a station. Ooh, that was a close one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the first coach, we ask that you move back to the last 3 coaches in order to disembark at Highbury and Islington, because our driver was distracted looking up bugs in the reality in which you live. We apologize for any inconvenience. So that's a fun one. So I think we'll call this this scenario a wash today, but we've certainly learned some interesting things. We've learned in particular that if we go even a little bit past notch 3 in our braking, our doors are closed by the way, that we get a pretty substantial drive quality penalty, and we know that if we're driving this particular scenario, that you have to overhang Caledonian Road slightly in order for the train to be convinced that you are actually at Caledonian Road. And let's go all the way to notch 4. Indeed, especially since I think it's 6 actually, Tim, but still, with whoops, we're speeding. That's my fault. That's my fault for staring at the chat. When we're dealing with graphing calculators where the clock variation is pretty substantial since they use discrete components as a time source, that is not so easy. Here we are coming up to Canterbury, platform 4. Ding, says the AWS. And let's start stopping. In fact, I left that one a little bit late. It's going to yell at me about drive quality, I suspect. Yep. Yep. Goodbye, Canterbury. Hello and goodbye. One hopes part of our train will stay there. Yeah. No, I think it's 6 either way, isn't it? Is it only 3 either way? I thought we said it could go up to 64 microseconds. Maybe it was plus or minus 4. Anyway, it's really tight regardless, whatever it is. Let's ease off the brakes. Our doors are closed, and off we go. That was not a professional stoppage at that particular station. And let's accelerate a little bit more than that. Straight into notch 4. Next stop is Dalston Kingsland, platform 2. So since we're not going to win on points today, let me tell you a little bit more about what we are on, about the North London line, and perhaps about the Class 378 if we have a chance. Just like that 370 that's passing us right now. We are at 40 miles an hour, so let's be aware of that. The North London line is a railway line of the London Overground, so this is not really a commuter line that we're on, more like a subway line. It's a rough semicircle, as I said, between the southwest and the northeast of London, curving around to the top. It has a mix, as I was saying earlier, of third rail and pantograph electrification. It's also a freight route used by, freight, as well as the Richmond to Stratford line of the London Overground. And London's District line also shares part of the trackage. So, although we won't see any of them today, in real life we might see some London Underground trains along here. And are we going to overshoot this platform? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Only slightly, though. Not too badly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Doors are open. This is Dalston Kingsland. 5561. Aha, okay. And what else? What else do we have here? First opened in 1869, reopened in June 2010, and full service was resumed after some repairs in 2011. There we go, indeed. If you look at the route map, it has a wide variety of other lines that intersect with it or cross over or under it. Since we are currently at Dalston Kingsland, if I can find that on my map here, and we are headed towards Stratford. Alrighty, so our next stop will presumably be Hackney Central. Got our timeliness bonus. We have a positive score again. Let's go. So at least we're doing a timely service today. The score is not reflecting very good drive quality, but we're on time. That's all that matters. We're about to go from a 40 mile an hour limit into a 45, so that'll be nice. One wonders if it might be fun to do a high-speed service after this, just because we have had such restrictive speed limits along here. And we are not quite in the 45 yet. There we go. Good. So next stop is indeed Hackney Central, platform 2, which will be followed by Homerton and Victoria Park. And we're speeding. Ever so slightly. Now we are not. Half a mile to Hackney Central. It continues to be a rainy day here in London. You do need more monitors. 3 is not nearly enough monitors. I prefer 5 myself, but even that's not enough monitors. Sometimes I run out of space on my 5 monitors. And let's get ourselves right down. If you program directly on your calculator, you could. Then you would be able to do all 3 of those at the same time. This is a much more professional stop. Let's aim to do all of our stops like that. Professionalism. Doors are open. Hackney Central. Any loco? I suspect that's not precisely what you mean. C programming, aha. Well, clearly the solution is for somebody to write or port rather, a C IDE to the calculator. Porting the compiler would be a little bit harder though. Doors are closing. Guard says we're okay. Didn't get any score there, oddly enough, so off we go. Ah, so you're not going to hold me just to steam locomotives today? Fair enough. EMUs and DMUs not doing the trick for you then? I love that train simulator bug where it plays the door closing sound at random times. AWS. For no adequately explained reason. But we're inside the train, so we did not miss it. Now we're outside the train though, so we'll certainly miss some. Very nice, this looks good. I like this. And we're speeding. So yeah, this is what happens when we leave our train. We speed. It is inevitable. And Homerton is an extremely short platform, I remember from my last exploration on this route. So I'm going to bring our speed down very early. Yep, that'll do it. That'll do it indeed. In fact, that'll do it a little bit too enthusiastically. Almost. There we go. Now we have the whole train on. Beautiful. That was a good stop. I like that. Doors are open at Homerton. Let's see. Our next stop after Homerton will be Victoria Park, followed by Hackney Wick, and then Stratford. So pretty short jaunt on the North London line today, but fraught due to our rainy conditions and buggy train simulator. I will certainly make sure we get a locomotive for you today. I will find you a locomotive. We'll see what we have. The birds are tweeting in this rain, which seems a little counterintuitive to me. So we actually got here early, oddly enough. Good for us. There we go. Doors are closed. Let's stay in notch 3 at this speed. We don't want any wheel slip. There we go, Hackney Wick, platform 2. Aha, we're not stopping at Victoria Park then. Perhaps that is a closed station then. And why are we getting an AWS alert? Have we a signal? I don't see any particular signals. Maybe it's for the 25. That's probably what it is. Hello, class 378. Yep, we have a green. It must be for the 25. AWS says everything is well now. Steam. So, funny anecdote. When I first got Train Simulator 2015 on Steam, I saw that there was something called the Steam package, and I thought, I generally prefer diesel and electric trains. I'll get the one that doesn't say Steam pack. It turns out Steam pack was, Steam, the game pack, so it came with a lot more routes and locomotives and rolling stock, and was a much better bargain, so I should have gotten that instead. But I misunderstood and thought it was about Steam trains. So that was my bad. Now we have to crawl along at this 25 until we get to Hackney Wick, because apparently that's our life on the North London line. Slow limits. We are crossing over a road. My little map here does not tell me what road we're crossing over. GG, no re. Yep, that was definitely my error. Ooh, super elevation action. That's screenshot worthy. I think that pole got in the way. Beautiful. And let's start stopping for Hackney Wick. Notch 2 should do it admirably. Perhaps even a little bit too admirably. Alrighty, let's get the whole train onto the platform, which we have, and let's stop. Apparently there's been something siren-worthy around here happening, some kind of emergency. Glad the emergency services are on it. Doors are open. So after Hackney Wick, I believe our next stop is Stratford. So this has been an interesting scenario indeed. Also, since I have so many monitors and I'm only playing Train Simulator on 2 of them, I keep accidentally glancing over to one of my monitors where Chematech Administrator TI-Freak8X sent me a picture of a cat who appears to be doing math. The cat is looking at a math textbook and has a calculator in front of him. So that keeps momentarily distracting me just for how weird it is. Doors are closed, guard says we're okay, and off we go. Ladies and gentlemen, our next and final station stop will be Stratford Platform 1. I know the first time that I played on this particular route and heard the sirens, they were sufficiently convincing that I thought they were here in real life, and we're about to start speeding. But no, we're not. Engines with cranes on them? I've done the math, the dog must go. Sorry, we can't afford food for the dog. And we're speeding. What? That was not a whatting at the speed. That was a whatting at whatever AWS was yelling at us about. Ooh, is there a red ahead? That's not ours. I got frightened there for a moment. We do have a warning that we need to be down for 20. That's probably what we were getting AWS'd about. Because we're going to be heading off to the side. Ooh, we're not going to make it to that 20. We're going to speed. Yep, a little bit of speeding there. Little bit, not too bad. Only minus 13. Yep. I see the 15. This time I see it. As our train snakes around nicely. We also have some of the Olympic stuff over there. 2012 Olympics. I'm also keeping my eye on our AWS symbol because that is liable to go off at a moment's notice. Trains! What up, John? Glad you were able to join us for some trains. Just finishing up a scenario on the North London line, pulling a Class 378 Capital Star EMU, into Stratford Station. Let's go into the front of the train so we can stop properly here. Have you gotten lost in Thomas the Tank Engine line, JMO 444? That's what it sounds like. I also hear a helicopter that is also convincingly like real life. This seems as good a place to stop as any, so let's do so. I have never derailed during a live stream. I believe I have derailed during a video since this is my 18th video, but only my sixth live stream now. I think I did not end up publishing the portion of the video where I derailed. I think I may have started that scenario over again, but I certainly have the footage on my computer. I'm saving up all of the footage from interesting negative things that happened for some kind of bloopers supercut at some point. I think that'll be fun. That'll be a fun video when I don't have any time within all my geopipe work to actually make any videos. The other thing I should be doing tonight, in addition to or instead of trains, is I should be making some calculator related videos because back to school is coming up. I have a brand new Casio FX CG50 graphing calculator that I need to review, and we need our usual back to school graphing calculator guide as well. But trains are much more fun. So we're just waiting for our passengers to disembark here at Stratford. Unfortunately, you failed to complete all your tasks correctly. Please refer to the debrief screen and try again. So yeah, that was an unfortunate issue of Train Simulator not believing that I actually stopped at Caledonian Road. So we scored 0 today. So that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate indeed. But that was a fun little jaunt in the Class 378. I think, therefore, we need to make up for that with something much more successful. Trains! Blooper supercut, yeah. So let's see what we have here. I think we should do a career scenario because I feel like going for a high score. What shall we do? What shall we do? I think I'm going to disqualify the North London line for now, since we just did that. We could do some more North Jersey coastline. That could be fun. We could do some Alp 45 DP action from Long Branch to Aberdeen Matawan. That would be appropriate considering we have at least one native New Jerseyan here. We can do some Northeast Corridor action, although the Northeast Corridor from Philadelphia to New York Penn is not our most attractive train simulator route. We can do the Semmeringbahn, we can do Sherman Hill, South Wales Coastal, HST. Let's go with that Alp 45 DP. So I don't have the Morrison Essex line yet, though. Actually, it's the Morristown line, which is not the same as the Morrison Essex line, correct? Because the Morristown line is in here. I don't think the Morrison Essex line is in here if those are indeed distinct. Where did our New Jersey go? All right, so let's try some Alp 45 DP action to Long Branch Part 1. I'm also waiting for the Morristown line to become something other than $40, as I said yesterday on my stream in episode 17. Oh, is it? New Jersey Transit Lines. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but Firefox has been a shocking memory hog lately. And randomly starts freezing up if I haven't closed it for the last 24 hours or so. Alright, so there's the Northeast Corridor, the North Jersey Coastline, Highbridge, Gladstone line, Raritan Valley line, sorry, not Highbridge. And then the Morristown line, Montclair Boonton. Ah, look at that. Good evening, engineer. It's a warm fall evening in the last leg of New York to Long Branch service. You'll be traveling to Aberdeen Matawan, starting off here in Rahman, and stopping at every station on your way. Good luck. So let's get our doors open. Yeah, Rahman. It's Rahway. What was that about? Let's get our train in forward. No AWS to cancel. Our brakes are in lap. Our throttle is off. So here we are at sunset, my favorite time of day, in our Alp 45 DP. There's the sun setting on our train. We have a rake of 6 coaches today. Ooh, we're in 4500. Very nice. Very nice indeed. That's screenshot worthy. Indeed it is. Space Fox. Wow. Alright, let's release our brakes. I'm going to need my other hand for this because now I have to operate both a brake handle and a throttle. Our brakes are fully released. Throttle is in notch too. Headlights are on and off we go. Next stop will be Evanel, track 2 in 2¼ miles. And since I actually have the New Jersey Transit route map pulled up here, I see that we have, Rahway, followed by Avenel, Woodbridge, Perth Amboy, South Amboy, Aberdeen, Matawan. And those are the stations that are in this portion of this. Followed by then That looks like Hazlitt, Middletown, Red Bank, Little Silver, Monmouth Park, and then Long Branch, which is in the second half of the scenario. It looks like it either is raining right now or was raining, because there is rain on my windshield. We have a cab car being pushed by an Alp 45 DP off to our left. And we're about to enter 30. So let's get some dynamics on and brake. Oh, there goes our score. Goodbye, score. This is where route learning comes in. Knowing where a 30-mile-an-hour mark could come up. So we're branching off from the northeast corridor line now. The northeast corridor is heading off to our left while we continue on to the North Jersey coastline, sticking along the New Jersey coast. We are starting to about to speed again. Use some dynamics to help. We'll try to use some dynamics to help us with that. There we go. As we go down a pretty steep 1.1%, now it's a lot leveling off decline. There we go. And then we have a 75 coming up, so we won't have to worry there. And now we can start pulling that up again. Let's play with some cameras. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. There we go, this one. Yeah, I like it. Very nice. The shadows of the leaves on the train is certainly beautiful. Let's get back in the cab in case we have any signals we need to obey. We have no aspect on there because that is in fact for the other direction. I'm hoping it's, regarding the Firefox thing we were talking about, I'm hoping it's just a temporary inefficiency or memory leak or something that they put in that somebody's going to catch and fix in the near future. I did some quick Googling and it didn't seem like anybody else had been reporting it, but we shall see. Let's get ourselves right up now. Full power. Speed! Looks like I'm going to have to get going after this scenario without doing part 2 of this because Elf Prince 13 is bidding me for Heroes of the Storm. So his family is in town and they also play Heroes, so we'll get a nice group going. Speed! Power! It's the way to do things. Only way to go. Not the best camera position. But in fact, now we need to do some braking. Because we do need to stop at Avenel. That is a pretty train though. I don't ordinarily love orange or magenta that much, but in this scheme it works. And we have way too much braking. Maybe not, actually. Maybe that'll be pretty good. Let's put some more service on and lap it. We're going to have to put only part of our train on this platform. Oop, not handle off. That's not what I meant. Okay, we need a little bit more of our train than that, I think. Since we can overhang our diesel and get... I guess we can only really get 3 cars on here. What a pain. I suppose that's the correct thing to do, though. Huh. Alrighty. Having not actually ridden into my memory anyway, the North Jersey coastline in real life, I'm not sure what the proper operating protocol there is, if you're supposed to put the first 3 cars on, or the last 3 cars on, or what. Speed! I can just imagine the crickets chirping in North Jersey. I'm going to put a little bit of dynamics on and release our air brakes. I mean, of course, as You may know dynamics don't actually work when you're stopped, because dynamics work by electrically retarding the motion of the wheels by letting their forward movement drive current backwards through them to make them slow down. But if you're stopped, they don't actually stop you from moving. Our brakes are off, and off we go. I started over, speaking of speed, with Top Gear Season 1, which I had never seen before, and it's amazing how few people they have in the studio watching when starting at the very beginning, before they were really well known, and before James May was there, when it was just Richard Hammond and Jeremy Clarkson. Next stop is Woodbridge, Track 2. Not to be confused with Woodridge, which endlessly baffles me about New Jersey. New Jersey needs to get its act together. In fact, there's a Woodbridge and a Woodridge in close proximity to each other. Come on, guys. What is that? Mile and a tenth until Woodbridge, though. You can see it's starting to creep onto the right side of the screen now. Actually, let's drive from outside. We can look at our beautiful red pantograph for our Alp 45 DP. I was reading off some statistics for the Alp 45 yesterday, like its weight, its horsepower, 4,900 horsepower, 700 more horsepower than my favorite, excuse me, my brain stopped functioning for a moment there, P42 DC locomotive, the one that we drove in Britain yesterday, as a matter of fact. I'm sticking under the speed limit because I do indeed want to stop successfly at Woodbridge. In fact, I think it's time to start braking now. Put a little bit of air brakes on and then lap them. A little bit of dynamics too. A little bit more air brake. Oh, not handle off. So slap. Let's see what we have on our brake pressure dial. Too much, too much. Sorry, I was just experimenting there with how much pressure we actually need. There we go, back to 0. I'm gonna try to keep my eye on that brake pressure gauge as we go. Now we're gonna be a little bit late here, but that's not too bad. Not too bad indeed. We're only a few seconds late. Stop! Only if people actually want to get off. That would be the best reason. So we'll go to service, not all the way to head off. We'll lap that amount of pressure. A little bit more pressure, lap. A little bit less pressure, lap it there. Oh, apparently once we let off the pressure, we have to let it go to 0 before we lap it again. Good to know. Well, our whole train isn't on yet though, so let's stop with the experiments and get the train on first, and then worry about experimenting with the braking system on our Alp 45. There we go. Now we pretty much have just a whole train on, so we'll put ourselves in service, lap it, and that should bring us to a nice stop. Alright. Perfect. Doors are open. This is Woodbridge, Track 2. After Woodbridge, we have... Let me look at my map again here, if my laptop will let me click on. Oh, Firefox again. We have Perth Amboy, South Amboy, and then Aberdeen Mattawan. There we go indeed. The Alp 45 DP, as the name suggests, is a dual power locomotive, so it can operate either off pantograph power, as it is doing so now. Ooh, look at that, with the sunset and that red pantograph. That's screenshot worthy. Also, we're done being here, so we should be elsewhere. Or its own internal diesel prime mover, a 12-cylinder giant diesel engine. Which nevertheless seems to be struggling ever so slightly getting a train of this magnitude up to speed. Got our nice Comet cab car at the back here with its equally beautiful New Jersey Transit color scheme. Let's put ourselves into full power, might as well. As we glide out of the station. This is looking very nice. They really have improved the graphics lately in Train Simulator. I'm quite impressed. I'm going to be even more impressed with Train Simulator World if they can possibly make it a little bit less resource hoggy on computers that were built one generation ago. JMO 444 drives a class 47 0 miles per hour and a Mallard at 147 miles per hour. That's a fact. It has that horn, which I like a lot, and it has a bell. It does not have a two-tone horn. That tends to be actually a British thing, oddly enough. Sometimes you can control the two tones of the horn independently. On the Class 378, which I was driving before, you just pressed a button to sound both horn tones in order. I'm not sure how prototypical that is, though. In real life, you might be able to control those two tones independently, since they reserve the B button for that whistle. It would normally, as the B indicates, would be the bell. We have a beautiful sunset here. I know I've said this a million times, but trains and sunsets are basically the best thing. I love photographing trains, I love photographing sunsets, and I love photographing trains at sunset. On a recent visit to Tim Keller's house in New Jersey, I got to photograph a New Jersey transit train at sunset, so that was pretty much the best thing ever. As far as a KermMartian is concerned. This is a nice horn. This is a very nice horn. I can't argue with you there. Since we're going at a reasonable speed now, let's do this. Yeah, gotta love that Doppler effect. The people who live in these houses right here probably don't love that Doppler effect quite so much, but I do. Let's keep that speed up as we head towards Perth Amboy. What else is new? What else is new? I feel like I'm doing videos so frequently, I'm live streaming so frequently that I haven't had time to come up with a lot of interesting things in between to tell you guys about that are not things we've just discussed in the previous videos. That is the one downside of doing frequent live streams. That's also, I guess, one of the slight disadvantages to doing live streams in general as opposed to making videos is, videos without an audience, which is that you don't come up with the things you want to talk about ahead of time. But I think it's a lot more fun to have the audience there with you, giving you feedback and causing shenanigans. Start putting a little bit of braking on. I adjusted my camera so I can see that brake pressure dial right in the bottom right hand corner of my screen. I've lapped on about 20 psi in our brake pipes, and I'm gonna release that now because we're coming in nicely. Now I'm gonna put it back just a little bit more. There we go. A little bit more. A little bit more. We're gonna overhang the locomotive here so we can fit our whole train on. Beautiful. A little bit more dynamics, I think, and a little bit... Ooh, we missed the first car there. That's unfortunate. And we're still not stopped. I thought we were stopped a lot sooner than we were. Question is, are we here early? We're not here early. Let's just open the doors. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the first 4 coaches today, we ask that you please walk back to the latter 4 coaches. Our engineer was having too much fun playing with the dials and forgot about actually making the coaches stay on the platform. GeoPipe is going well. No big software devs using it yet. So what we're doing right now is focusing on getting some architecture firms using it. We've been looking at architecture as an interesting first early adopter market for GeoPipe because they have a need for kind of medium quality virtual models of the real world. I'm just not going to put it on too much throttle until that brake pressure releases. 10. I should have released it earlier. There we go. So we're working with a couple of architecture firms that we're negotiating pilot programs where they'll be using the product and then giving us a little bit of money. We will be getting their feedback, offering help and fixes as they go. And then we'll be expanding into other things that interest us about the problem, like video games and training simulations and special effects and so on. But right now it's just a lot of juggling of programming and going out and talking to customers for us. So it's exciting stuff. Exciting indeed. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking about GeoPipe. Also, if I may be pedantic for a moment, the P is not capitalized. It's just GeoPipe with a capital G. But you are far from the first person to think that's the case, so I do not fault you there one bit. I must give New Jersey Transit credit for having largely electrified lines for the most part. That is not something that can be said of a lot of the rail in the Northeast. Sadly, for example, past New Haven, the entire run from New Haven all the way up through Springfield to Essex Junction, St. Albans, and then Montreal is not electrified. Not quite $10, a little bit more than that, but yes, we're mostly looking at a per square mile subscription. Square kilometer, really. But, you know. Let's get a look at this beautiful scene with our train going over some water here. I like it. I like it a great deal. That's thumbnail worthy. That is definitely thumbnail worthy. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. I think the sunset lit side of that train is definitely the superior one. Let's use our dynamics to get about 1 mile an hour off, so we can be down for that 30. There we go. Beautiful. Why we have to go down to 30 is anyone's guess, but we shall see. South Amboy is coming up in half a mile. We're also looking at, you know, charging per square mile so people can use those models once. We're also looking at a subscription model where people could access as many models as they like within, say, New York City, for example. But they could only continue using those models while they're customers of ours. But we're still working on testing and finalizing some of those ideas. Good questions indeed. Gotta stay under the 30 here. As I just said, stay under the 30. And as we head into South Amboy, let's start thinking about some braking. Not quite yet. As I repeated umpteen times, I love going into stations at 37 miles an hour. That seems to be my go-to speed limit. That seems to serve me pretty well. It wouldn't have served us very well on that North London line scenario with the length of some of those extremely short platforms, but generally it works out quite well for me. There we go, we have our whole train on the platform, so we can pretty much stop wherever. Beautiful. That'll work. I see this woman up here is walking back to get to the train, so she expected us to stop a little bit further along the platform, but oh well, our apologies. Why not cubic kilometer? Because in general, that would not serve either us or our customers well, because in tall areas like New York City, it could serve us poorly because they could just decide to cut off the tops of some of the tallest skyscrapers and try to fill those in themselves. And it could serve them badly because they could end up paying more than what they really want to for a given area. Thank you, Siren. That one was in real life. Because there do happen to be some tall buildings there. So I think square kilometer should be a little bit better, so it's kind of independent of what exactly the building height is in that particular area. Although that's interesting as a proxy to figure out, you know, how dense a particular area is. Then again, you know, you'd end up getting cheated on New York versus LA, for example. New York is so dense and centralized, whereas something like LA has so much sprawl. We're heading up towards 30 miles an hour as we also head towards the 60 mile an hour zone. After South Amboy, our next and last stop will be Aberdeen Mattawan. We're almost to that 60 mark. Let's see if I can just slide us gently in so we don't have to stop accelerating. 29 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. Oh, that's not going to happen. There we go. And up to 60. Speed! We have 5.25 miles to go to Aberdeen, Mattawan. It always amuses me how many of the place names in the Northeast mirror either place names in England or, you know, in this case, kind of a mix of an English name and a Native American name. So, interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff indeed. Again, the signals are facing the other direction, so none for us. That is indeed the plan, JMO444. We've got a little bit of flange squeal going on as we round this corner, and we're almost at 60 miles an hour. In fact, we're almost at 61 miles an hour. And we're also going to have to come down for that 45 coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if we have... Alright, so do you guys think we have a little bit of a bridge or a little bit of a switching track up there? That's the question. Also, we have some nice water over to the side here, so I think this deserves some screenshottage. Yeah. Now, in our haste to take screenshots, let's not miss our speed limit. I'll lap a little bit of brakes there. That should get us down nicely. Now I'll release those. And it looks like the answer is bridge. The answer is bridge. Ooh, oof. This is nice. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Yes, I like it. Sunset, scenery, and trains. What could be better? Nothing. The answer is nothing. Train! I think it started because a few minutes ago, Tari Corp spelled it that way using what looked like random Unicode symbols. I mean, I'm sure random is not a very precise way of saying that, but using Unicode symbols. Got a nice little cab here. No firemen today. Can we open that window, get some fresh air in here? Yes, we can. Nice. Let's open the other window too. Get a little bit more fresh air in here. That'll make our engine a little bit louder, but on such a beautiful fall evening, I think that's the right thing to do. In number 4500. Heading rapidly up towards that 70 mile an hour limit. Also, as I was saying yesterday, the oh, hello train. The speed limit of this train is 100 miles an hour if it's on its diesel prime mover, or 125 miles an hour if it's on electric mode, and we're speeding. I didn't mean to quite test that. So we've done pretty well actually, only 2 speeding instances as far as I recall. That was the second one. So we might actually, I mean, I'm going to knock on my table here. We might actually get a gold star today. We might indeed. We have a 45 coming up, so let's be aware of that. Oh, I haven't been sounding the horn for grade crossings. Did we just go through a grade crossing? Yeah, we did. Sorry, New Jersey. I totally overlooked that. Yeah. near in enough time for that one we just went through. I'm just looking ahead to see if there are any more grade crossings for me to accidentally miss. I think we're going over a highway now. Indeed we are. There's a highway. Something or other. We can release our brakes now because we're coming down nicely. For this 45 zone. And look ahead for nope, not a grade crossing. Almost at Aberdeen Mattawan. And now we're down for the 45. Beautiful. Beautiful indeed. And there's inexplicably a 70 zone in the middle of that station. Whatever that's about. Trains! Speed! Speed trains! Clearly that's the correct solution. And we need to start stopping. That'll work. That'll work nicely. Oof, that's a lot of squealing. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is Aberdeen Mattawan. You will now be sent into a time warp where for you, no time at all will have elapsed, but for me, several days may have elapsed until we leave Aberdeen Mattawan, because I think it would be appropriate if the next video I start right here at Aberdeen Mattawan. I think we're going to get a score of about 961, which should serve us well. Should serve us well indeed. Let's see if that pans out as I expect. 961. Not bad at all. Gold star. And I unlocked the North Jersey Coastline Explorer badge. So there we go indeed. We had on-time arrivals at all of our stations, although we overhung a few more coaches than we should have at Avenel. We won't worry about that. Not at Avenel, at Woodbridge, excuse me. A little bit of speeding, nothing too bad. Things worked out well for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I do have to call it here for this evening. I hope you've enjoyed today's trains. I now have other things to do, like Heroes of the Storm. Let me know if you enjoy Heroes of the Storm too. Anyway, this has been fun. It's been good having you all on this Saturday evening. Pretty low-key stream. We didn't do anything too taxing, anything too crazy. We didn't worry too much about a couple little hiccups, mostly on the North London line today. We didn't talk really about too many trains while we went. Nothing terribly technical, but it's just hopefully a fun little piece of background for you guys while you work on other things. If you go back and watch this video at a later date, I hope you enjoy just seeing some trains move along while you do whatever. I look forward to playing again soon. And as always, please feel free to comment on the eventual video I'm going to post up with any questions, suggestions, criticisms, factoids, things you think I should drive in the future, and so on. I would of course be appreciative if you subscribe, not the least because you'll get notifications when I decide to do some streams or post up a video in the future. And without further ado, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.